Governor Newsom signed yet another executive order today, and I am disturbed without even having to care about what the policy is. We have come into a point of time where we're living by executive order, where a single person has usurped the role of the legislative branch. Any legislative branch with their own salt should be offended that the governor has taken this role. This type of massive policy changes should be debated in the people's house, not have unilateral decisions hand down by a stroke of a pen. You know, we're all against authoritarian rule, except apparently when it happens in our state. This is no longer about the issue at hand. This is about the role of our various branches of government. The legislative branch is a deliberative branch for a reason. It exists to help the public have input. And that input also helps the public buy into the policy. When you have a single person unilaterally deciding what massive long-term policy is going to be, you have a problem with buy-in. You know, even people who are sympathetic to the policy should be skeptical of how it's being implemented. This is the very type of government authority we don't want to live under. It's just bad governance. It's bad for our society, and it's bad for our culture, and it's bad for our politics. Our politics is toxic enough. Are we going to repair that with one-man rule? With a legislative branch that does nothing? There's something wrong when a legislative branch will not exert its authority simply because the governor is a member of the same party. We need independent voices. We need voices who are willing to say, maybe I agree with the policy, but the way you're going about it is wrong. Ethics count. How you go about doing things counts. If you no longer care about how you go about things, that's how you end up with a toxic political structure, where those with power exercise it and those without get left behind. And was a question brought to me about the role politics and bureaucracy should play in healthcare decisions. And let me say this. Body autonomy is a fundamental human right. Freedom to choose what you do with your body is fundamental. That goes from abortions to vaccinations. The political class has no business being in those decisions, regardless of how I personally feel about either one, or anything in between. If I want something done or don't want something done, it is not right for me to use the force of government or society. I can ask, I can beg, I can convince, I can even pay off, bribe even, but I cannot force or coerce. That leads us to a society where politicians have a right to interfere with your healthcare decisions. And do we really want that? Do we really want to live in a society where politicians, me, people even worse, people much worse, are making decisions for your healthcare? Are telling you what kind of procedure you must or cannot have? I don't want that. And if you think about it, nobody should. You and your doctor are the only people who know what is right for you. And even then, it's a best guess. Politicians, bureaucrats have no business being involved, except maybe to help you pay the bill. And paying bills leads us to another thing. If you're still here, we could use a little bit of money to get us over the finish line. We'll get there, but a few extra bucks helps. So go to justforassembly.com, click the donate link, and we will accept whatever you can manage to afford. But it also brings to a minute about why we're running for office the way we are. I mean, it's not enough for me to tell you that your money is buying social media advertising and printing at this stage. That's what it's going to buy. But that's not enough. You should know why I'm running the way I am. I was the only one who picked up this task. Nobody else even tried. And the reason they didn't try is because if you run a standard political campaign, you're wasting resources. You're not going to win. There's no way. The incumbent advantage here is too great. That doesn't mean you can't win. It's a long shot, to be sure, but it doesn't mean you can't win. You just have to play the game differently. You play the game the way no one else is playing it. You make up your own rules. Oh, you follow the legal rules, don't get me wrong. You toe those lines, or in our case, you don't even get close to them. But it's the unwritten rules of politics. You are free to choose your own way. We are free to do things right. We are free to disengage from the negative political structure. We are free to talk to individuals instead of groups and activists and lobbyists and business groups and all the various people who have banded together to exert their power. I don't need them. I need your vote so we can get in there and we can show them that it doesn't have to be that way. So we can retrain other voters to show them that it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't have to be toxic. Because politics doesn't have to be toxic. Even in today's fractured society, most of us get along just fine. Politics doesn't have to be toxic. It's difficult, yes. Many of the conversations are uncomfortable, yes. But it doesn't have to be toxic. And that's what we offer. We offer a different way. Not just because it's the most ethical way I can think of so I can go to sleep at night. It's because it's the best way for you. Politics of today isn't working. We can see it. But what is working is you. This journey was not one I had planned to be on. But my fellow gig workers asked me to try to do something. And when I realized I can't do it the way other people do, it was a freeing moment. It was a moment where we got to reinvent something. You know, there's a movie, Moneyball. It's about how the Oakland A's changed the way the backside of baseball is done. We are the Moneyball of politics. We are the uncandidate. We require you to tell your friends that, hey, just listen. I'm not in search of supporters. I'm in search of voters. I'm not going to take any more of your time. Be kind to another. Thank you for your time. Good night.